Hi, folks. A very warm welcome to season 4, episode 18 of the Lemons and Pineapples podcast with me, Emma O'Brien. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about how to make 2026 the year your life actually changes. So, if you're listening to this and 2025 is coming to a close and you're sitting and thinking, this time last year, I told myself things were going to be different. Things were going to be better. My relationship was going to have changed. My income was going to be better. My career was going to be better. I was going to be living in a different house. Everything was going to look really different. But yet here I am in the same situation and I'm a little bit frustrated with myself. This episode is for you. Before I dive in, I just want to share with you and invite you to join me for a New Year reflection and intention setting workshop, which I'm running on Wednesday, the 7th of January. You can join, you can find all the details via the show notes. It's £22. And it's a workshop where I'm going to invite you to reflect on what's worked in 2025. Reflect on what you want to change and help you start to build a plan to actually see that change happen. So you're not finishing 2026 in the same place you are now, the same place you've been for years and years and years before. It stops now. And I'm sharing with you listening as well as I'm sharing with myself. I'm making this commitment to myself. There are lots of things that I told myself, and I had all the best intentions of being different in my life now than they were this time last year. And lots of things just haven't changed. So I'm going to dive in this episode to why it is we end up in the same situation year on year and what needs to actually shift so that we don't keep repeating the same patterns over and over and over again. This year's been a huge year of self-reflection, introspection, shifting beliefs, deep healing work that has kind of brought me to this point where I'm able to sit and share with you. These are the things I'm going to be reflecting on and doing. So my reality is very different at the end of 2026. Putting it out there in public, making that declaration now. So I invite you to do the same thing. So there are 3 questions to ask yourself when it comes to the situations that you wanted to be different that aren't. And it might look like you told yourself at the end of last year, and maybe the year before, and maybe the year before that, that you wouldn't be sitting in the same relationship that you are now. That either it would have changed, you would have moved out of the relationship, a lot of things in the relationship would have changed, that it would look very different, but yet it doesn't. Maybe you told yourself at the end of last year that you were not going to be sitting in constant debt, always in your overdraft at the end of 2025. And yet, even though you've earned more money this year, you're still in the same financial situation. Maybe you didn't want to be in the same job that you're doing or to be running the same business or for your business to look the same last year, but it's still, nothing's changed. You're still in the same job. You still don't really like it. You haven't moved up anywhere. You haven't progressed. You've just been treading water for a year. There'd be other situations that you perhaps find yourself in where you intended for there to be change, but nothing has changed. So 3 questions to ask yourself. What has not changed? And be really honest, make a list. What has not changed that you intended to have changed? What's not different? Make a list of the things. Why has it not changed? What did you not do? Or what happened that nothing has changed? And what needs to shift in order for you to be in a different position at the end of 2026 to the one you are now? And the things that need to shift will be all the reasons that it hasn't shifted, because it's hard, because the shifts require courage. The shifts require moving out of your comfort zone. The shifts require some inner work. The shifts require difficult conversations, and they require you to step up and be a different version of yourself than you are now. And I have found that the place to start when it comes to what needs to shift is reflecting on what beliefs are keeping me stuck. Because often we can know the action we need to take, We know the things that need to happen, but often it'll come to the point where you almost go to take action. You almost go to have that difficult conversation. You almost go to sign up for that course that you know it's going to take you a year to complete it. But once you've completed the course, it opens up a whole load of other career avenues for you, but you've not done it. The changing of your financial situation, it means having a long, hard, cold look at the reality of what's happening, the reality of your spending, the reality of what's actually coming in, the reality that you're going to have to change your habits and behavior in order for there to be a different outcome with your financial situation. And it's easier to stay the same. We're in a comfort zone. We know what it's like to be in struggle. We know what it's like to be unhappy. We know what it's like to be stuck. And we tend to tell ourselves stories about this. And the stories, if you can start to pay attention to the stories you tell yourself about the situation you find yourself in, will help you uncover the beliefs you hold that are keeping you where you are. So it might be that if we take the relationship example, if I leave this relationship, what if I'm alone? It's a huge fear that keeps people stuck. What if I never meet anybody else? What if I am just alone for the rest of my life? And the prospect of that is so terrifying for me, I don't want to take a chance. With the money situation, what if I have to do without? And how will that look? What if I have to sell my car and get an older car? And what will people think? These are all the things that drive our behaviors. And when you bring them out into the light and have a look at them, you can start to examine them and go, okay, I've got something to work with here. The career situation. What if I move to a different company, and what if I get retrenched within 3 months of being there, and I've got a pension here and I've got a retrenchment package here, and what if it's a big risk to move somewhere else? What if I start my own business and it doesn't work? And what if I plow through all my savings, have nothing and no job and no business, and I'm destitute? You start to examine the stories and beliefs that determine and really drive your behavior. We have something to work with there, because a lot of those beliefs is conditioning. It is, who am I to do something like that? It is conditioned things from upbringing. Money is a big thing that gets very much conditioned in our upbringings. We can start to examine them, and we can start to have a look at how do we gently and slowly change these? What's the work I need to do to shift my internal landscape so that I can shift my outer reality? All of our change that we need to make starts within. So the relationship example is a great one. So what if you end up alone for the rest of your life? You probably won't, but what's so bad about that? Because the thing that's bad about that is if your self-worth is based on being in a relationship, it's based on somebody else validating you, it's based on somebody else taking care of you, it's going to be terrifying. But if you can shift that around and you can start to validate internally, you can start to build your own sense of self-worth, and you can start to build your own sense of independence. You suddenly don't need to be in a relationship with somebody. You can choose to be in a relationship with somebody, which is a really different place, a different energetic space to be moving into the world of dating with. You'll find it's a lot more successful when you've done the work on yourself and you're not dragging your big bag of wounds around with you and saying to someone else, please fix me. So sit with this, sit with those three questions. What's not changed? Why is it not changed? And what needs to shift within me for those changes to be able to happen? The last question I'm going to drop out in here is, what is the cost for me staying where I am for another year? What's the cost? Maybe it's your well-being, maybe it's your happiness, maybe it's your mental health. Maybe it's, if you're stuck in the financial loop of being in debt all the time, you're only going to get further and further in. It's going to cost you another year that you've just been servicing payments to the bank, when you could have made a plan, and within a year you could have been stabilized and starting to climb out of it. It takes great courage to make big changes. It's why most people who are stuck because it's getting over that initial fear of taking those first steps to get out of the situation you're in. It's uncomfortable. The word comfort zone is hilarious to me because when we're stuck in a comfort zone, we're just in familiarity and we're coping, and it isn't good. It's not comfortable, but the thought of just stepping out of it is really quite scary. So it's why we don't. That's why people like me exist, why coaches exist, to be able to walk you along, to be with you and guide you on the journey of change. You don't have to do it on your own. It's difficult to make changes on your own. It's scary, it's uncomfortable, and having somebody walk with you is really, really powerful to be able to really instigate and implement and make change that lasts and integrate the change. So if this has resonated and landed for you, please do join me for my New Year workshop on the 7th of January. Links are all in the show notes. If you can't make it live, if the times are a bit off for you, you will get a replay link after the workshop so you can listen to it again. And everybody who signs up for the workshop will also be able to hop on a free 30-minute post-workshop coaching call with me, which is worth £75. So actually you're getting really good value by joining the workshop. And I'm really excited to help guide you through reflecting on 2025, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what needs to change, and really setting up where you intend to be at the end of 2026 and really leaning into and getting clear on the version of you that finishes next year in the position that you want to be in, and what are the steps you need to take to get there. And I will guide you through that process. And of course, we're going to be really, really visualizing into what's happening at the end of next year for you, that you don't finish another year stuck and in the same place as you are this year. Head to the link in the show notes to book that. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the flip side. Thanks for being with me, folks. Bye for now.